Do you know what truly happens when you live alone after 80? Most people imagine a quiet, peaceful life. Slow mornings, freedom to do as you please, time to rest and reflect. But for many older adults, the reality tells a different story. Life alone at this age can hold both beauty and difficulty. Moments of calm, yes, but also deep silence, long days, and unexpected challenges that test the heart and mind. Living alone after 80 isn't simply about independence. It's about learning how to navigate the emotional, physical, and practical changes that come with age, and doing so with honesty, courage, and grace. It's about facing what no one prepares you for: the loneliness that lingers, the small chores that suddenly feel heavy, the quiet fears that come when there's no one else at home. In today's video, we'll explore 9 honest truths about living alone in your later years. Truths drawn from real people who have walked this path with strength and humility. You'll meet Harold, who misses the sound of another voice in the room, Irene, who struggles to ask for help, and Ruth, who still talks to her late husband over morning coffee. Their stories remind us that growing old alone is not about giving up. It's about learning new ways to live, to connect, and to find peace in the life you have now. So stay with me until the end, because as we face these truths together, you'll discover not only the hardships, but also the quiet wisdom, resilience, and hope that come with every gray hair and every sunrise you still get to see. Let's begin with the first truth: the weight of loneliness. When we think of living alone in our 80s, we often imagine freedom. No schedules, no interruptions, the ability to do what we want when we want. But that freedom, for many, quietly turns into something heavier: a deep and lingering loneliness. The days can stretch long and quiet. Family visits grow less frequent. Friends, the ones who once filled our lives with laughter and conversation, begin to move away, fall ill, or pass on. And soon, the house that once felt comforting begins to echo with silence. You might find yourself missing the sound of another person in the kitchen, the warmth of a voice calling your name, or even the simple act of sharing a cup of tea at the end of the day. It's not just the absence of people that hurts, it's the absence of being seen. Take Harold, for example. He's 83, and every evening he sits by the window in his favorite chair. He keeps a routine, makes his coffee, calls his daughter once a week, watches the sunset, but he admits that the hardest part is not the silence itself. It's the feeling that no one notices his life moving quietly forward. What many don't realize is that loneliness doesn't just touch the heart, it affects the body. Studies show that isolation increases the risk of depression, anxiety, and even heart disease. The human spirit was never meant to live entirely alone. But here's the hopeful truth: connection doesn't always come from grand gestures. Sometimes it's found in small everyday rituals: chatting with a neighbor, joining a local group, calling someone just to say hello. Loneliness loses its grip when we choose to reach out, even a little, because every smile, every shared word, every moment of kindness reminds us that we are still part of something bigger. So if you're listening to this and feeling that ache of solitude, remember, you don't have to face it in silence. Reach out. Someone somewhere is waiting to hear your voice. Let's move to the second truth: the challenge of daily chores. There was a time when simple tasks felt effortless: carrying groceries, doing laundry, sweeping the floor. They were just part of the rhythm of life. But after 80, what once took minutes can feel like climbing a hill that keeps getting steeper. You start noticing things you never had to think about before: the weight of a grocery bag, the strain of bending down, or the fear of losing balance when reaching for something high. Each little job becomes a calculation. Can I do this safely? What if I fall? For many, these thoughts bring frustration. You still want to be independent, to prove you can handle things, but your body sometimes says otherwise, and admitting that can feel like a defeat. Take Irene, for example. She's 85 and has always taken pride in keeping her home spotless. But these days, even changing the bed sheets leaves her breathless. Carrying laundry down the stairs feels risky. Still, she avoids mentioning it to her children. They're busy, she says. I don't want to worry them. That's something many older adults share: the hesitation to ask for help. Not because help isn't available, but because they don't want to be a burden. But here's the truth: asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's an act of wisdom and courage. There are community programs that can deliver meals, handle errands, or help with cleaning. Many churches, neighbors, and local volunteers are eager to lend a hand. Sometimes all it takes is a phone call or a quiet yes when someone offers help. What matters most is safety. Your safety. Because one small accident, one avoidable fall, can change everything. So if chores start to feel like mountains, take it as a gentle reminder. You don't have to climb them alone. Let others be part of your story, your routine, your care. You've spent a lifetime helping others. Now it's okay to let others return the favor. After all, independence isn't doing everything by yourself. It's making the choices that keep you safe, strong, and well. The third truth is one that quietly haunts many older adults: the fear of falling and getting hurt when no one is around. When you live alone after 80, even the smallest movements can carry a shadow of worry. Getting out of bed at night, stepping into the shower, or reaching for something high, things that once felt routine now come with caution. It's not just about losing balance. It's about what happens after. You think, what if I fall? What if no one finds me for hours? That thought alone can make your world shrink. Meet Ed. He's 84 and used to walk confidently around his apartment, tending to his little indoor plants and cooking dinner every evening. But one morning he slipped in the kitchen. It wasn't serious, just a bruise and a scare, yet it changed everything. Now he moves slower. He hesitates before stepping into the bathroom. He keeps his phone close even when he sleeps. That's what fear does. It sneaks in and steals your confidence little by little, and before you realize it, you've stopped doing the things that once made life full. But here's the thing. Fear can be softened with preparation. You can take simple steps to reclaim peace of mind. Start with your home. Add grab bars near the toilet and shower. Use non-slip mats and good lighting in hallways. Keep pathways clear and remove loose rugs that might trip you up. Even wearing shoes with a firm grip indoors can make a difference. And if you can, invest in a safety device, a smartwatch, or an emergency alert button that can call for help if you fall. Technology today can be a quiet guardian, standing by in moments when no one else can. Most of all, don't let fear dictate your movements. Yes, be cautious, but stay active. Keep walking, keep stretching, keep living. Because the goal isn't to move less, it's to move smarter. Your independence is precious, but your safety is priceless. And with a few small changes, you can have both freedom and peace of mind. The fourth truth of living alone after 80 is this: health problems no longer whisper. They speak loudly, and sometimes they shout. When you're younger, a cough is just a cough. A headache passes with rest. But in your 80s, even a small illness can take a heavy toll. What begins as a cold can turn into dehydration. A little dizziness can lead to a dangerous fall. And when you live alone, there's no one there to notice the subtle signs: the pale skin, the skipped meal, the forgotten pill. Patricia knows this truth all too well. At 86, she caught a simple cold one winter and thought she could handle it. She didn't want to bother the kids. But days passed. Her appetite faded, her energy drained, and she grew too weak to get up. By the time her daughter stopped by, Patricia was severely dehydrated. That moment changed everything for her. She realized living alone doesn't mean living without help. It's not weakness to reach out. It's wisdom. When you're alone, preparation becomes your best friend. Keep your emergency numbers visible, not hidden in a drawer. Make sure someone checks in with you daily, whether it's family, a neighbor, or a volunteer service. Write down your medications and put them somewhere easy to find. Use a pill organizer or a reminder app to keep track. And most importantly, listen to your body. It speaks in small ways long before things become serious. Don't ignore the signals. The unusual fatigue, the skipped heartbeat, the sudden confusion. These are not just signs of getting old. They're your body asking for attention. It's okay to say, "I'm not feeling right." It's okay to ask for a ride to the doctor. It's okay to call someone, even just for reassurance. Health challenges will come, yes, but they don't have to catch you by surprise. With honesty, preparation, and a willingness to accept help, you can stay safe, stay well, and stay in control of your life. Because the truth is, independence doesn't mean doing everything alone. It means knowing when to lean on others so you can keep living with strength and dignity. The fifth truth of living alone after 80 is one that often goes unnoticed. Eating well becomes harder than it seems. When we live with others, mealtime is more than food. It's laughter, conversation, and connection. But when you're alone, the kitchen can feel empty, and cooking for one can start to feel like a chore instead of joy. Martin, at 82, felt this deeply after his wife passed away. For 40 years, they shared every breakfast together, toast, coffee, and gentle morning talk. But when she was gone, he stopped setting the table. He told himself it didn't matter, that he'd just grab something later. Days turned into weeks of skipped meals and small snacks. His strength began to fade, and so did his spirit. It wasn't until Martin joined a senior lunch group at the local community center that things changed. The meals weren't fancy, soup, sandwiches, fruit, but he wasn't eating alone anymore. Slowly, his appetite returned. He started smiling again. That's the quiet power of sharing food and connection. Nutrition after 80 isn't just about calories or vitamins, it's about caring for your body and your soul. Here's the truth. Your body still needs fuel to keep your heart strong, your mind clear, and your balance steady. But when cooking feels exhausting, here are some gentle ways to make it easier. Simplify. Prepare easy meals that don't require long hours. Soups, stews, soft vegetables, scrambled eggs. Plan ahead. Cook larger portions and store them in small containers. Ask for help. Many communities offer meal delivery programs for seniors. They bring healthy, warm food right to your door. Eat with others when you can. Whether it's a neighbor, a friend, or a lunch group, conversation makes every bite more nourishing. And remember, eating isn't just about staying alive. It's about feeling alive. So even if it's just a simple sandwich, set your table. Pour yourself a drink, light a small candle. Let it be a moment of care, of gratitude, of quiet dignity, because you deserve to be nourished, body, heart, and spirit, every single day. The sixth truth about living alone after 80 is one many find hardest to admit: the loss of motivation. When the house is quiet and the days seem to blend together, even simple things like getting dressed or making breakfast can start to feel meaningless. There's no one waiting at the table, no one to share plans with, no schedule that must be kept. Slowly, the hours drift, and with them, the spark that once made each day feel alive. Betty, at 87, used to love painting. Her kitchen walls were filled with bright watercolor scenes of flowers and sunsets. But after her closest friend moved away, she stopped. "I'll paint again next week," she told herself. Then next week became next month, and soon her brushes gathered dust. What she didn't realize at first was that routine isn't just structure. It's the heartbeat of life. Without it, time loses shape. But here's the hope: that spark can always be rekindled. Motivation doesn't come from outside, it's something we gently rebuild from within. Start small. Make your bed each morning. Brew your coffee and sit by a sunny window. Take a short walk, even if it's just down the street. Write down one thing you'd like to do each day: a call, a meal, a bit of tidying, and celebrate when it's done. When Betty began joining a small local art circle, something shifted. Once a week, she sat with others who loved painting too. They laughed, shared memories, and encouraged each other. Soon her colors returned, not just on canvas, but in her heart. Routine brings rhythm, rhythm brings purpose, and purpose brings joy. If you ever wake up and wonder why bother, remember this: you matter. Every day you wake up, the world gets the gift of your presence, your stories, your wisdom. So build your day like a quiet song. Give it a beginning, a middle, and an end. Fill it with small moments that tell your heart, I'm still here. I'm still living, because you are. And every sunrise is another chance to begin again. The seventh truth about living alone after 80 is one that weighs quietly on many hearts: money worries. Even when someone has lived responsibly all their life, retirement can bring an unexpected shift. Fixed incomes, medical costs, home repairs, and rising prices create a pressure that never fully goes away. It's not just about the numbers on a bill, it's about the fear of losing independence. Walter, at 84, shared that he sometimes sits at his kitchen table at night with a stack of envelopes in front of him. "It's not that I don't have anything," he said softly. "It's just that there's not enough to cover everything." Some months he delays repairs to his heater or skips small pleasures he once enjoyed: a cup of coffee at the diner, a new book, a trip to visit his sister. He's not alone. Across the country, thousands of older adults face the same choices every month. bills or groceries, medicine or heating. The stress quietly seeps into their peace of mind, affecting sleep, appetite, and even relationships. But here's the truth. You don't have to carry this burden in silence. There are programs and resources designed for seniors: housing assistance, energy support, food and medication aid, and financial counseling. Many local community centers or senior organizations have volunteers who specialize in helping navigate these services, often at no cost. Walter eventually reached out to a senior financial counselor through his church. Together, they built a clear monthly plan and connected him with a utility assistance program. It didn't solve everything, he admitted, but it gave me back a sense of control. That's the key. Not perfection, but peace. Money can be a sensitive topic, but asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. The goal isn't to live lavishly, it's to live lightly, free from the constant shadow of worry. So if you ever find yourself staring at those bills with a heavy heart, take a breath, reach out, share your concern with a trusted friend, family member, or advisor. You've spent a lifetime providing for others. Now it's okay to let others help provide for you. Because true independence isn't about having it all, it's about knowing when to ask and when to receive. The eighth truth about living alone after 80 is one that too many people discover the hard way: the danger of scams and deceit. When you live by yourself, every phone call, email, or knock at the door carries a question. Can I trust this person? And unfortunately, not everyone out there has good intentions. Dorothy, at 89, was a kind-hearted woman who loved chatting with anyone who called. One afternoon, she received a phone call from someone claiming to be from her bank. The voice was polite, professional, reassuring, but it was a scam. Within days, her savings were gone. What hurt Dorothy most wasn't just the money. It was the shame, the sense of betrayal. She told her daughter later, "I thought I was being careful. I just wanted to believe people were still good." After that, she avoided answering her phone for weeks. The fear of being fooled again isolated her more than ever. But Dorothy's story, sadly, is not rare. Scammers often target seniors precisely because they are kind, trusting, and sometimes lonely. They pretend to be family members, government agents, or tech support, and they can sound incredibly convincing. Here's what the thriving few, the wise 3%, have learned. Vigilance is protection. If someone calls or emails asking for money, personal information, or passwords, pause. Hang up. Verify. Talk to someone you trust before taking any action. No real company or government agency will pressure you on the spot. Many communities offer free fraud awareness classes through senior centers or local police departments. Joining one not only builds knowledge, but also connection, because staying safe isn't just about avoiding scams, it's about staying engaged. Dorothy eventually found courage again. With her daughter's help, she learned how to block unwanted calls and report suspicious messages. It felt good to take back control, she said. I realized being cautious doesn't mean being afraid, it means being smart. And that's the message for us all. Trust your instincts. Be kind, but be wise. Keep your heart open, but your information private, because your life, your savings, your peace, they're all worth protecting. The ninth truth about living alone after 80 is perhaps the most tender of all: the weight of memories and the ache of missing those we've loved and lost. In the quiet moments, when the television is off and the house has settled into stillness, the past often comes knocking. You see a photo on the wall, a familiar chair, a coffee mug that still sits by the window, and suddenly the years melt away. The laughter, the shared meals, the little routines you once took for granted, they all return, bittersweet and vivid. Ruth, now 90, keeps her late husband's favorite mug on the kitchen shelf. Every morning, she pours her tea and sets his cup beside hers. She says it helps her feel that he's still part of her day. But she admits, some days it makes me smile. Other days, it breaks my heart. Grief in the later years doesn't vanish. It softens, it reshapes, but it never truly disappears. And that's okay. It's a sign of love that ran deep, love that still lingers. The challenge is learning how to carry it without letting it weigh down the present. For the rare few who continue to thrive, the secret lies in honoring the past while still embracing life as it unfolds. They find small ways to remember, lighting a candle, tending a garden, writing letters, or sharing stories with grandchildren. Each act becomes a bridge between what was and what still is. Faith and community often play a healing role too. Joining a grief support group, attending church, or even sharing memories over a cup of coffee with a friend, these connections remind us that we are not alone in our remembering. Ruth once said something beautiful. "I thought losing him meant the story was over. But I've learned that love doesn't end, it just changes chapters." And that's the heart of it. The goal is not to forget, but to find peace in remembering, to let the warmth of the past inspire gratitude rather than sorrow. Because even in grief, there is beauty, the kind that whispers, "You were deeply loved, and you still are." As we come to the end of this journey, take a moment to breathe, slowly, deeply. We've walked through 9 truths about living alone after 80, each revealing both the weight and the wonder of this chapter of life. We've seen how solitude can carry loneliness, yet also deep peace. How daily tasks can be hard, yet every small victory reveals quiet strength. The body may slow down, but the spirit, when cared for, can remain astonishingly alive. These truths aren't meant to discourage you. They're reminders, gentle, honest reminders, that growth, love, and renewal are still possible, no matter your age. The years may bring change and loss, but they also bring clarity, a deeper knowing of what truly matters, connection, kindness, and the courage to keep showing up. So if one of these truths touch something in you, maybe the loneliness that lingers some nights, or the quiet courage it takes to ask for help, hold it gently. Let it be a beginning, not an ending. Because even the rare 3% who seem to have it all together didn't get there by luck. They got there by choosing hope, by reaching out when it was easier to retreat, by believing that every new day still holds something worth living for. Maybe for you, that means making one more phone call, taking a walk to watch the sunset, cooking yourself a good meal just because you deserve it. Maybe it's volunteering, learning something new, or simply saying to yourself, "I'm still here and I still matter." If this message has touched your heart, share your thoughts below. Tell us which truth spoke to you most. And if you can, subscribe and share this video with someone who might need a gentle reminder that aging is not the end of the story. It's another chance to live it well. Even when life feels quieter, remember this: you are not alone, and your story still shines. So keep walking forward with dignity, with vitality, and with joy, because life, even now, is still waiting for you, and it's still so very beautiful.